Okay, well, Steve, I've got you on the line here. I guess we'll just go ahead and I'll ask you. Bill O'Reilly's been saying some things as of late. I mean, he always says things, but is it me or is this guy just lost control?
I don't know for sure. I guess he's just sees what Barack Obama's doing, and he's probably scared to death that he's actually going to win. And now he's ramping up all the right-wing propaganda to try to make him look bad.
What are your comments on what he said about Michelle Obama?
Yeah, that was just stupid. I've been writing about it in my blog, and I put up some transcripts of Jesse Jackson on Keith Olbermann talking about it, and Star Jones wrote an article about it, and then, you know, a bunch of other people. I don't think, and he misquoted himself and said he didn't say it, and then he gave that lame apology that wasn't even an apology.
No.
He just said, if what I said offended anybody, I'm sorry. That wasn't even an apology.
No, it sounded pretty weak to me, too.
Yeah, no white person should ever be using the words lynch or lynching party when they talk about any African American.
Well, I mean, I can understand. I'm pretty much all for, you know, freedom of expression and so forth. But actually, I was more bothered by the word "unless" in that statement. That to me was the bigger problem. That they shouldn't go in a lynching party against Michelle Obama unless there was evidence. That was my problem.
Yeah, I pointed that out on my blog I wrote when I wrote about it. I wrote that "unless" was one of the key words.
Yeah, I think it's the key word, actually. And to me, it just kind of strikes me as going, I don't know what this guy is thinking and how he comes to the conclusions he comes to, but it just seems that every time I turn him on lately, he's got something stupid to say about someone or something. I keep waiting for this guy to wisen up a little bit, but no, apparently not so much.
Well, it's just another in a long line of racist things, you know, he said about the Sylvia's restaurant, that he was shocked that all the blacks weren't screaming, "Bring my MF food," and all this, you know, and then he talked about, he was at that charity event where it was for black kids, and he said, I hope they're not out in the parking lot. They were late, and he said, I hope they're not in the parking lot stealing my hubcaps. And
wow.
Then he did the Mexican wetback comments. I mean, he makes racist statements all the time, and you know when people say that, you know when you say that on a national TV show, let alone not in private of your home, just think what he's saying in his home in private.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, what's the difference here between Bill O'Reilly and Don Imus? Why is Imus off the air and O'Reilly on?
Well, he's the #1 guy at Fox News, and they're never going to fire him. He's their top guy.
I suppose that's
with the #1 show. He would have to really do something bad before they fire him.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I mean, I just kind of look at that and I don't understand. I think it's probably the network. I think you're right. It's the network. I was watching a commercial for Fox News, and it was some stupid ad, you know, like Fox News, the most powerful name in news. And I was thinking to myself, you know, CNN wants
Republican.
to, yeah, well, it's something like CNN wants to be trusted, MSNBC wants to be comprehensive, Fox News wants to be powerful. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know, the deal with Imus, he was just on in the morning, and he was only getting about 200,000 viewers a day. He was like down there almost dead last with Tucker Carlson and Glenn Beck and Scarborough. Them guys are the lowest rated shows in all of cable news. Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck, and Joe Scarborough are the 3 lowest rated shows in all of cable news. So if they did anything, they'd probably be fired instantly.
Yeah, but
on Fox News, O'Reilly's the #1 show on cable news, so they're not going to get rid of him unless they get him on video, you know, killing somebody or something.
Well, even then, I'm sure they would probably just want to get an exclusive, you know. Bill O'Reilly, inside the mind of a killer or something ridiculous, but...
writing about the bias. I don't know if you've been watching O'Reilly's show lately.
I have actually caught a couple of episodes recently, yes.
But every night, the whole show is like attacks on Obama and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And then all this stuff comes out about John McCain, and he don't say a word. Nothing.
No, of course.
And in fact, on top of that, he put McCain's personal attorney, Bob Bennett, on to defend him and never disclosed that he was Bennett's attorney. When he demands full disclosure from everyone else in the media, if CNN dared put Obama's attorney on there and didn't say, oh, by the way, this is Obama's attorney, and then put him on, he would be calling for their people to be fired over there. And he puts Bob Bennett on the air and don't even tell you he's McCain's attorney, but it's every night it's just 30 minutes, like half the show is attacks on Obama, reporting everything. And O'Reilly says he only deals in facts and never speculates.
Of course.
And then he reported that the fainting spells, some people say that the fainting spells at Obama's rallies are staged by Obama's campaign.
Of course they are, yeah.
And then he says, well, I don't have no evidence to prove that, and I don't believe it's true. But here he is doing a 5-minute story on his show about it.
Yeah.
Well, he said he never speculates and he only deals in facts.
Well, he did the same thing with that Farrakhan business, where he was all, concerned that Farrakhan had said something, endorsed Obama's campaign, and then, of course, he said, well, why are the networks covering this? This is big news in all the other networks. And then he spent 12 minutes talking about the same issue.
Exactly. Then he wrote about it in his talking points, and then he did the next 15 minutes of the show. He had 2 guests on. He talked about it. He said it was no big deal, and he didn't really think it would hurt him. And then he spent 10 minutes talking about it. And he had the Democratic strategist on there, some woman, I forget her name, and he says to her, at the end of the segment, he says, do you think this will hurt Obama? And she said, no, I don't think it'll hurt him at all. And then, like 30 seconds later, he says to her, so yes or no, do you think it'll hurt him? Well, he just asked her. And she said, no.
Didn't get the answer he wanted.
Kept going on and on. He just,
Who was the chick that replaced him on, Friday night? There was a Laura
Ingraham.
Laura Ingraham, okay, that's what I thought, too. Who is she? She's like some little witch that she almost makes Bill O'Reilly look semi-rational.
She's like a female Rush Limbaugh.
She's crazy.
She's a woman version of Rush Limbaugh. She's a right-wing nut job on the radio. And she does the exact same thing Rush Limbaugh does. Just sits there for 2-3 hours every day on the radio, spinning out right-wing propaganda with nobody to challenge it. And then all the callers are screened, and it's just all people that agree with her. Someone needs to do a LauraIngramSucks.com website. That's what we need to do. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. You can do it. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. Did you see when O'Reilly had Dennis Miller on? No, I didn't see that. I know he was on, but I didn't actually get a chance to see that. Well, in the Miller segment, they talked about Obama and McCain and everything, and then right towards the end of it, Miller mentioned that Giuliani was his guy, and now he's starting to like McCain. And he said that, there's a poll out now that has McCain beating Obama by 2 points. And Miller says, I think, I'm starting to like him, and I think he might actually have a shot to win. O'Reilly says, yeah, I agree. And then this poll they were talking about is the LA Times Bloomberg poll that just came out a couple days ago. It has McCain at 44, Obama at 42. With the margin of error in the poll is 3 points. Mm. So Obama could actually be 1 point ahead. It's a plus or minus of 3. What they don't tell you is that, I looked it up at pollingreport.com, there's 12 polls out right now on who will win, McCain or Obama. Guess who's winning the other 11? Obama. Of course, we don't want to talk about those polls. He's even winning the Fox News poll, 47 to 43. Ouch. Wow. So O'Reilly don't even mention the Fox News poll that's on from the very network he works for. He don't say nothing about these other 11 polls. Every one of them, Obama is beating McCain from 3 to 12 points. Wow. So I guess... And then one poll comes out with McCain 2 points ahead. Of course. And they cite that poll on here. Real quick, Steve, last question for you in just 30 seconds here. If Obama does win, do you think Bill O'Reilly will just go completely crazy? Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see all the hypocrisy of all the stuff when he said Bush is president, how you have to respect the office and you can't do this and you can't speculate and you can't say anything negative, you can't do anything, you're un-American. He's pretty much going to blow a gasket there, isn't he? Yeah. When Obama's president, you won't see any of that.